And we're going to demonstrate how easy that is and how you can do that shot like in 30 seconds. So I've got my camera. We've got a beautiful model. Jess, do you want to come over here for a second? So we're going to shoot this twice. We're going to shoot it once. We're going to shoot it once without flash. Then we're going to put a flash on and shoot it just to show you. I live in California. I'm very lucky. This is a very easy shot. It hardly ever rains in California. You always want a background that's very neutral, so I use pavement, I use sidewalks, I use grass, as long as it has the same tonality. And the other secret is I'm using an 85 1.4 Nikon lens, and I take this shot wide open, 1.4 all the time. And the beauty of this shot is that you'll find that the bride's or your subject's nose is not in focus, ear's not in focus, but the eyes are tacked sharp. And it just gives a beautiful looking shot. And this isn't just for brides. I do this for every time in engagement sessions or even portraits. So I'm just going to ask Jess to crouch down a little bit, and she is portraying a bride today, hence the beautiful flowers. And we are just going to like focus in on her eyes here. That's beautiful. And fire away, and let's see what we got. And there you go. I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to ask her to raise her head just a tiny bit more. Beautiful. Let's see how that looks. Much better. Now, this type of shot, typically, I could retouch in Photoshop and Lightroom in about 2 minutes. Actually, the picture on the back probably only took me 3 minutes, but I think that's a Friday photo school for another day when we get into retouching in Facebook and Lightroom, because that could take hours for me. So now what happens if you're not in sunny California and you're in Canton, Ohio, and it's like October and it's raining? What do? Well, you pull out a flash. That's what you do. And I like the quantum flashes, and I love this new thing, the Ultimate Light Box. It's like unbelievable. I just recently discovered this at WPPI in Las Vegas, and it is a great tool, and it produces awesome light. So let's give this a shot, same shot, and let's see how we did. Inside, there's suggestions for an engagement session. There's pictures. There's even a space for me to write a special thank you note. I handwrite it. It's personable. They don't expect this. There's information about adding on extra images, and there's also a section for them to see when their payment schedule is. I send this in a beautiful black envelope. It's handwritten with a silver pen. Again, it's exceeding their expectations. The last thing I want to talk about with clients is follow up. I'm surprised how many friends in this business I talk to, they get leads and they don't bother following up at all. They just sort of get a lead and let it go. I use a system called ShootQ. ShootQ is a web-based studio management system that is great for tracking clients, client payments, and the biggest thing is leads. You can copy and paste an email into their leads section. It takes all the pertinent data, and then you can tag that lead. You can automatically send them emails. You can tag it to follow up in 4 days. Now, I'm not saying to pester potential clients, but you should be in touch with them after the shoot. These are the things that I use to get my clients. So that wraps it up for getting the gig. Now, let's go back to a little bit of my aerospace business, and that is preparation. I'm very religious when it comes to doing this. So, preparing for the gig. The first part is know your equipment. You have to know your equipment. So one of the first things I would suggest you do is read the manual. I'm surprised how many people don't read the manual or know their equipment. And wherever you go, take the manual. I'm in Canton, Ohio today with my camera, and my manual is here with me. If you want to know more about this, I wrote a recent article on shootsmarter.com titled Know Your Equipment or Get Fired. And if you go read that article, you may see a picture of Donald Trump in there. So, the other thing you need to do is protect your gear. So you can save time in Lightroom. People ask me how come I don't import all 5,000 images into Lightroom and then sort of like edit them there. Because if you want to save speed, as you import your images into Lightroom, there's a little checkbox that you can say when you're importing, create standard previews. It takes a little bit of time, but these are the larger size files used for viewing. So usually when I'm importing, I'll go have a cup of coffee or run an errand to the post office or something. I come back, my images are imported with standard previews. If you did it with all 5,000, it would take forever. So here's my real secret for editing. Once the images are in Lightroom, I use this thing. This is my secret weapon. This is called RPG keys. And they have two versions. This is the big version, and they also have a mini version. The mini version is wireless. You could sort of sit in your lazy boy chair if you wanted to and edit pictures like 10 feet away from your computer. The beauty of this thing is, maybe we can take a look here, Dave, is it's set up on this side with presets. And by the way, presets is the power of Lightroom. This is set up with your standard editing. Exposure up, exposure down, tint, brightness, clarity, sharpness. Over here are tools for your local adjustment brushes. Using them and combining them with presets is awesome. I had an image hanging in a local trade show recently. It was awesome. It never saw Lightroom. And up here are other things to switch between grid mode and library mode or tagging images. But once you know where your fingers go on this, I can edit a wedding of about 1,200 images for color, exposure, converting some to black and white, converting some to sepia. It takes me about 3 to 4 hours and I'm done. So typically after a wedding, I'm ready to deliver images the day after the wedding. Backups. I get asked a lot about backups. How many is enough? This is a little thing called Blax, B-L-A-X, and I think it's made by a company called Thermalake. If you have an iPod, you know about the docking station. This is a docking station for raw drives. I don't buy those external drives. They're all different. You need 28 different extension cords. Just pop hard drives in and out as you need them. Typically for a wedding, I'll have 3 backups on hard drives, 1 on my computer, 2 on an external. I'll have a set of DVDs burnt as a backup, and that's in the client file. And then I go as far as after I make JPEGs, I burn an off-site set, and I keep them at my son's house. So typically I have 5 backups. Last, one more thing in post-production is if there's something that you're not good at,